Good morning, friends. This is Shruti from PT Tutorials Horses Group. Today I'm here to talk about the very important question. What is basically the role of pronunciation in Pearson exam? Before I start explaining the thing, are you able to listen to me? Just send one message so that I can confirm. As I said, today's webinar topic is what is the basic role of pronunciation in Pearson exam? In the end of this webinar, when I'll be finishing with all the slides, if you have any queries side by side, send those to me. I'll try to answer each and every query. Now let's start today's webinar. Pronunciation is the utmost important thing, enabling skill in Pearson exam. Why so? Because many people, they are aiming for 79 plus in each of the module of Pearson exam. And there is one thing in Pearson exam, that it is not like IELTS exam, that when you are going to write for listening module, then you are only getting the listening score. When you are giving your speaking module for IELTS, you get only speaking score. But here the case is opposite. From your speaking paper, you get 2 module scores too. And that's why pronunciation plays the utmost important role in speaking, which will help you to get the best score in reading as well as in listening score. Today I'll explain all these stuff in detail. So let's start. Before I explain each and everything regarding how we will be getting reading score and listening score, first I'll cover what is the basic meaning of pronunciation. Speaking each word correctly and clearly. See, I have written 2 words. Correctly means the pronunciation of each word which I'll be speaking during my speaking module. When I'm appearing for the speaking module, it should be correct. Means if the pronunciation of one word is, say, I'm giving one example, authorization, it should be spoken by the test taker only in this way. Authorization. Next word I wrote here is clearly. I can also speak the same word in some other way. Authorization. This is wrong. It should be in the similar tone. Wherever I have to stretch the schwa sound, I have to stretch that sound too. And this will help you actually if you open your mouth more. See, clear means opening the mouth more. Because if I will not open my mouth more, software will not be able to capture the word what the test taker has spoken. So for that particular word, I will not get the credit. I'm repeating, correctly and clearly spoken words. This is the actual meaning of pronunciation, because when we generally see the meaning of pronunciation, we only cover this point. Speak the word correctly, but we never focus on speak the word clearly also. One more example, management. If I'm going to speak this word just like now, I'm speaking management. This is wrong. Software will not be able to catch it because the sound I have produced now is not matching with the actual pronunciation of the word management. Each and every schwa sound, vowel sound should be coming out from your mouth. Only then you get the score. Many people they just say like, my speaking paper was very good, but still don't know why the software gave me only 20 marks in pronunciation. See, this is the reason, because we don't open our mouth, and many times we also speak the incorrect words. So for that, listen to natives, how they people pronounce the words. This is the only thing that will help you actually to get the best score in pronunciation when you are aiming to speak correct pronunciation of each word. One more example I want to give here. Alternative. We Indians pronounce this word as alternative. Am I right? But the actual pronunciation of this word is alternative. Now, see, if I'm going to speak for this word like this, alternative, this is wrong. Software will not catch that word. The actual pronunciation is alternative. You have to speak in this way. Whenever you will be listening to the native speakers, just check how they people speak. And one more thing, one little advice here. Whenever you are learning something by listening to natives, always listen with subtitles. It will help you to catch the actual pronunciation of which word is which. Coming next. Now, in speaking module, there are two enabling skills. Basically, your speaking module is based on the scores that you will be getting for oral fluency and pronunciation. The combination of these two scores gives you good score for speaking as well as for other modules too. Now, score of pronunciation depends on, listen to me very carefully, this is also very important because this is not a manual checking paper. This paper is just as if, not if, this paper is software based it has software based checking. So I have to work on and I have to walk on just as the software wants the things from me or from you people. Suppose my pronunciation is very good and suppose I'm the native speaker, but still my pronunciation score was 25, 27. Now, what's the uh, worst thing had happened with me or with the software during my exam? As my pronunciation is pretty good, I'm the native speaker, then why my score is so low? You know what? This is a software. Definitely, it would have some its limitations, some boundaries. And based on those limitations and boundaries, it will give us, it will provide us the score. Now, that limitation is, giving one example here so that you can understand better. We are human beings. We human beings are able to hear, are able to listen only those voices which are having the frequency range from 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. Most of us are aware of it. And any voice which is having low frequency than this 20 hertz or more than 20,000 hertz, we people will not be able to listen to those voices, those frequencies, because we are made by God in this way. In a similar way, animals, they have their another frequency range. In the similar way, Pearson software is made. It can hear only one required region frequency, and which is actually we name this thing as pitch. If you have high pitch, means your frequency range is very high, it is more than 200 hertz, then software will not be able to listen. It behaves just as if it has become a deaf. That is the main reason that if I'm so good in pronunciation, and suppose I'm the native speaker, then definitely I'll be speaking each and every word with correct and say clear pronunciation. But again, I'm not getting good score. Again and again, I'm appearing for the exam, still getting the same score 20, 30, 20, 30. And because of that less score and pronunciation, we'll be getting less score for other modules too. This is the basic reason that you have to be in one range. See, that range is 100 to 200 hertz. One more thing, for males, the range is 100 to 175 hertz, but generally girls suffer in this case. 50–60% girls suffer, and I also suffered. Seriously, my voice is also thin. Thin voice means high pitch, and my pitch was 250, 280 hertz. And then I tried to speak with heavy voice, tried to speak from diaphragm. That is the only option. When you put stress on your tummy, then your voice becomes heavy and it decreases. And for those words which are whose frequency range will be in this range 100 to 200 hertz, you will get the credit for those words. And out of those words, suppose I spoke one paragraph, and in that paragraph I cannot say this thing. For each and every word, my frequency range will be always 200. Some of the words I can speak for more than 200, some at more less than 200 hertz. And after that, software will check this thing, which for which words my frequency range was coming in that region. I'll get the score. For this, see this. I have made here one diagram. Let's understand this. This is the PTE software range. Means this is the ideal line, and all the words which will be falling in this region, whose frequency range will be falling in this region, we will get the credit for all those words. And on the other side, as my pitch is very high, my words are falling in this region. Some were spoken at this range, some at this. Just tell me, as my words are falling in this region, they are not even falling in this region, how would I get the score? And similarly with low pitch, some people have less than 100 hertz frequency range when they speak. As the words will not be falling into this region, software will not be able to listen that what the speaker has said, what the test taker has said. That is the most important thing. Before you start working on your pronunciation for each and every word, or for a couple of words, or for a couple of less of words, always first check your pitch. And if you have this correct pitch, then all is fine. Next, Score of pronunciation depends on how clear you have spoken the content. This is just the summary of what we have learned now. Open mouth more. And one more important thing I have added here. Don't speak too fast and too slow. Too fast, for example, if I'm going to read the same content which is there in front of me now, score of pronunciation depends on how clear you have spoken the content. Open mouth more. Now what has happened? The sounds of the words have become closer. It has get attached to each other, and thus software will not be able to understand the sounds of the words. Not only the sound, the actual pronunciation of the words. If I'm not giving a little bit, very little gap between two words, just like now, how clear you have spoken the content. If you haven't understood what I said, how the software will be able to understand that thing? That's why we should not speak too fast. Another, when we speak too slow, again pronunciation suffers. Reason being, too slow, if I'm speaking in this way, how clear you have spoken the content. No doubt I was speaking each word with correct pronunciation, but in that way, I'm actually stretching the sounds. Basically, I'm stretching the schwa sound. Now, what schwa sounds are? S C H W A. I'm repeating S C H W A. Schwa sounds are all the vowel sounds which actually appear in between any word. Sorry. For example, banana. After the first N, I have an A. Because of the presence of that A, which is the vowel, the sound becomes nana. That A is called schwa sound. So if I'm not speaking that word in that way, which is actually the correct pronunciation of the word, definitely score will be less. That's why we should not speak too slow. Next, now the intervened modules. In speaking, you get two another module scores. First is reading, then is listening, and one more thing, you get one enabling skill, that is vocabulary. And vocabulary, one question to you all, as no doubt I have written here also. Vocabulary is the part of which module? Writing module. And from speaking, we get vocabulary score. I'll explain from which task you actually get vocabulary score. And that vocabulary score, some of its percentile will be added to your writing module. Yes, you will be thinking that I'm not writing anything in speaking module, but still, how ma'am is saying this thing that we will be getting some score for writing from speaking. I know this is a weird thing, but this is actually the correct thing because many of us are not aware of all these little hidden loopholes of Pearson exam. Next, speaking plus reading score that you get from any question type. The very first question type in speaking module is read aloud. You get 6 to 7 items there. And reading score is dependent on two enabling skills scores. Yes, 2 enabling skills score. What's that? Reading score is equal to pronunciation score and content score. Then pronunciation and content scores are represented as a couple. Now, what is the meaning of this line? That they are represented as a couple. This is one read aloud paragraph. Now, let's understand what that actually couple is and why I have used this word couple for that pronunciation and for content. Fluency is I was fluent, I was not taking unnecessary pauses. Whenever I see one comma or full stop, I was taking only microsecond pause, not more than that. Now, coming to the next enabling skills that are pronunciation and content. What and how I'll be getting the score for pronunciation from this paragraph, provided I'm speaking with very good fluency as per what the software needs from me. If I'm speaking each word with correct and clear pronunciation, I'll be getting the score for pronunciation. On the other hand, what is the meaning of content? Content means all these words, each and every word which is written in this paragraph. Not only this, in each and every paragraph. That is actually the content. And what is pronunciation? Each and every word which is written here, it's correct, clear pronunciation. That's why I have used the word couple. If I'll be getting the score for pronunciation, suppose I spoke this word according and it was clear, correct. So I'm not only getting the score for here for this word pronunciation, but as according is the part of my content, that's why I'm getting the score for content from this word too. That's why I have used the word couple here. The more your pronunciation score will be, the more you will get the content score, which is equal to more and more your reading score from read alouds. And one thing more I want to add here. Only your reading module means after your writing paper, those 17, 18 questions that you get in reading module, if you check, if you add all those 1 marks that you are getting from reading module, those marks, all those marks are actually of only and only say 42 to 48 marks. Yes, your reading module is of only 42 to 48 marks, not more than that. And rest of the scores, how you will be getting. And one more thing, don't ever assume this thing that each module is of only and only 90 marks. When all the scores will be counted from each module, just check, it will be more than 90. And your speaking module is of more than 300 marks. Yes, it is more than 300 marks. That's why after committing few errors in speaking paper, still we are able to get 90 in speaking. Because they take the percentile. If I have software has deducted 40 marks from my speaking paper, 40 marks. Suppose my paper was of 320 marks speaking module and I got 280 marks out of those 320. So 280 divided by 320 multiplied by 90. It is approximately equal to 79. 40 marks were deducted, still I got 8 band. Because this is a percentile game, and that is the only reason that in Pearson exam we are able to get 90 each. We have never heard anyone getting 9 band each in IELTS exam because that is not a percentile game. Pearson is a percentile game. So be careful about all these stuff. Pronunciation, content. These are actually the couples. If your pronunciation is good, your content score will be good, and when it is good, your reading score will also be good. This thing I have explained just as a revision. From each question, we get different scores for content. Yes, this is really very important thing. In Pearson score guide, it is clearly mentioned. Even if you want to see that thing, download PTE score guide from Google, and in the read aloud section, it will be written that no one knows how much marks you will be getting for reading. No doubt, pronunciation and oral fluency scores will be written there. 5 marks for oral fluency, 5 marks for pronunciation, but content score, no one knows. Why? Because from each question, we get different scores for content. Here I'm talking about read alouds. We get different scores for content as each paragraph would have different number of words. And I'm not aware how many words will be there in one paragraph. Do I start counting the words during my paper? I cannot. I cannot afford this thing. That's why some paragraph will be having more word length, some will be having less. So depending upon that thing, we get our content score. And it is actually the percentile of the score that you have gotten for pronunciation. And one more thing I want to add here. Some of the paragraphs in read aloud are of having some difficult words which we have to pronounce. When some difficult words are there, always remember one thing, software knows this thing, that this paragraph is having some difficult words. Then in that case, from that particular paragraph, you will get more weight. I'm repeating, if one paragraph is having difficult words to pronounce, definitely that paragraph would carry more weight for your reading module. Sometimes we get very easy paragraphs for read alouds. At that time, the percentile that you will be getting for reading module, it becomes less. Yes, it becomes less because all the words were so easy to pronounce, so credit will be less in that case. No doubt credit will be there, definitely it will be there, but credit will be a little bit less as compared to the those paragraphs for which are having high vocabulary words, difficult words to pronounce. Those words, definitely what will happen? We will fumble, for those difficult words because we are not aware of the actual pronunciation of those words. The moment we will fumble, we will get less score for first fluency, pronunciation, and then content. This is a percentile game. I'm again and again saying this thing. So be careful about these things. When you get the preparation time and read aloud, if you're not aware of the pronunciation of any word, either skip it or speak when you will be speaking in flow, speak that word as you want to speak. But don't just take a break, don't just repeat that word if you have spoken that word wrong or something like that. The moment you go back and you are repeating it, your fluency is gone. And once your fluency is gone, everything is gone. Coming next, just a small review. Less pronunciation and read alouds, less content score, that is equal to less reading score. Then comes speaking and listening. There are three tasks from where you get listening score 2 from speaking module. Number 1 is repeat sentences, then comes retell lectures, then answer short questions. Listening score is dependent on, again, two enabling skills, pronunciation and content. Pronunciation and content scores are repeated as a couple, again, because it always happens. Now see how. Number of words, listen to me very carefully. Why I have written here words? Because in repeat sentences, you will have not the keywords, only the words. Or keywords, or phrases. Those you have spoken are actually the part of the content. The words, keywords, or phrases I have spoken for repeat sentence, answer short questions, and for retell lectures, those are actually the part of the content. That's why I'm getting pronunciation as well as content score. If you have spoken the correct and clear pronunciation of those words, you will get the credit for pronunciation score. The more you will be getting pronunciation score, the more your content score will be. And that is actually, content score is actually added to your listening score. Now let's understand task by task. Listening score from each repeat sentence has 3 marks for content. Suppose I get 12 repeat sentences, and from those 12 repeat sentences, I get 3 marks from each sentence that will be adding to your listening module. It becomes 36 marks. Just imagine 36 marks I'm getting for my repeat sentences. Side by side, I also want to speak some of the strategies for repeat sentence. If you open the PTE score guide, it is clearly mentioned there. If you do some hesitations or you are speaking leading or trailing words, means sometimes we are able to capture the very first part of that sentence, and sometimes we are able to capture only the last few words of that sentence. Then will I get the credit if I'll be speaking only the first part, first few couple of words, or if I'll be speaking only the last few couple of words? Yes, you get the credit. And 90 each scorer, ask that person Were you fluent throughout in your repeat sentences? All were easy? He or she will definitely say, no, I fumbled somewhere in one or two sentences, but still the score is 90 in speaking as well as in listening. Reason being clearly mentioned in the score guide some of the hesitations, or if you are speaking first part or last part, you get credit. It doesn't mean that your total score will become zero for listening or for speaking also. Yes, one or two hesitations are okay in repeat sentences. One more thing I want to say here. Suppose I have prepared myself for 1000 repeat sentences. At that time, can I make myself 100% sure that now in my exam, let come any repeat sentence, I will be speaking and I can speak each and every word for each repeat sentence? I cannot promise this thing to myself because I'm not aware now what questions or uh, how many words will be there in each sentence. Suppose a sentence was having 18 words. No one will capture 18 words in one go. No one. Definitely at that place we will fumble. Or as I'm perfect, I will not fumble. But suppose out of those 18 words, I had captured 12 words. And I'm speaking all those 12 words in one go. Fluency was maintained. Pronunciation was also maintained. No doubt, only content would suffer somewhere. I will get 2 score, not 3 out of 3 score for listening. That's not a bad score, 12 out of 13. So, as I cannot fully rely on my repeat sentences, so never ever create a phobia for repeat sentences. Never ever. Once or twice fumbling is okay. So, when I cannot make myself sure about one thing, but I need good listening score, how would I get that? Why don't you work on other listening tasks? Read a lecture, answer short question, and your whole listening paper. Make these tasks 100% perfect, and definitely score will be there on your account. Always plan the strategies, how you actually have to work on. If I'm lacking somewhere, then I would definitely work on rest of the things. Then listening score that you will be getting from each retail lecture is 5 marks that will be added to your content and then in your listening. Suppose I got 3 retail lectures. From each retail lecture you're getting 5 marks. Total marks will be 15. 15 marks will be there. And on an average you get 3 to 4 retail lectures. And sometimes you get 5 retail lecture also. One more thing I want to add here. Don't only assume that you're only getting, if there are 5 retail lectures, then I'll be getting only and only say 5 fives at 25 marks from retail lecture that will be adding to my listening score, listening module. No, as I said, this is a percentile game. Then what will happen? If any of the retail lectures you get some difficult audio, then that audio would have more credit, would have more weight for listening, for content, because that would be having, say, less or more keywords depending upon that thing, difficulty level, credit, and weight of difficult questions will always become high. Just understand this thing with very easy example. When we were in school, um, if we have ever got one question paper which was having some difficult questions, at that time our teachers were giving us some lenient marking. Am I right? And when the paper is very easy, they do strict checking. In the similar way, things are also here. Easy question, less weight. Difficult question, more weight. And one more thing. If any of the audio in written lecture is having more word length, say, in other words, the audio was of say 50 seconds, 1 minute, then that audio would have more content. Then in that case, software definitely wants from you that you would speak more content. The moment you are not speaking more content, score will be less. Yes, actually, this is the fact. And one more thing, how many keywords I have to speak in that case for each retail lecture? This is really very simple. Lengthier the audio is, you have to write more and more phrases on the notepad while you will be listening to the audio, because so that you can have good collection of couple of group of words which will add, which will increase your scores for content and listening. One more thing, suppose one paragraph, one audio, say, is having 200 transcript words. None of us can speak all those 200 transcript words because we cannot capture each and every word, and we cannot, definitely we will skip some of the words, just like it is the, these are never ever be counted as the keywords. And once you have used one word, software will not give the credit for that word using in your audio again. Credit will be given only once. 200 transcript words are there, then what will happen? It would definitely have one range. It would have set one range in the software. If a person will be using 20 to 30 keywords, then that person would get 5 marks for content because we cannot use each and every word. And if 100 words transcript is there, less words, less keywords we will be using, then that range would decrease simultaneously, and it would have say 15 to 20 words if I'll be using in my audio, in my that recording, I'll get the credit. So be careful about all these things. I will give the answer to all of your questions just after 1 or 2 slides. Then listening score that you will be getting from each answer short question is 1 mark. So suppose I got 10 answer short questions and 10 marks is there for listening. Just imagine this thing. Whenever we are going to appear for the exam, we hardly prepare ourselves for answer short questions. Am I right? Because we think that it is just 1 mark question. I can manage in the exam. If I have heard from somewhere, some people that if I'll be not able to answer one question properly, means I'm not aware of the answer, then in that case, I'll speak any word. Okay, fine, you can speak any word just to get the speaking score, but how will you get the credit for listening? In answer short questions, software is having its own answers. And if I'm not speaking those words, definitely my listening score would suffer. And we have this thing in our mind, 1 mark question, 1 mark question. Array, let's count the score. It's not 1 mark, it's 10 marks, or sometimes more than 10. If you get more questions, 12 marks. And 98% people are suffering in listening module. 98%. Because our main focus is on SST, summarize spoken text, write from dictation, repeat sentences, read a lecture. When the aim is 79 plus, then definitely we have to work on one single task. Aim is 79 plus means aim is 90. So be careful about all these things. 1 mark question, just like for MCQs, we have given the tag also. I'm not going to prepare for the MCQs because it carries only 1 mark. You know what? MCQs say in reading, multiple answers. You get at least 4 to 8 marks. And at that time, when suppose you are at 78 in listening or say 78 in reading, just because of that 1 mark, you have to reappear for the exam. Then that 1 mark pinches us just like nothing. It's just like hell. So always prepare yourself for each and every task so that whenever I appear for the exam, I never ever face this condition that I'm on 78. That pinches the most seriously. That is the vocabulary score that you will be getting from answer short questions. No one knows this because it is not at all mentioned there. Only we can know this thing that we get vocabulary score. And vocabulary is actually the part of my writing module. No doubt in speaking I'm not writing anything, but still I will get the credit for writing because some of the percentile for the scores that I have earned for vocabulary that will be added to writing. Again, I am on 78 in writing and my answer short questions were not good in my real exam, then 1 mark I can get from those answer short questions. So be careful about all these things. Remember this thing, less pronunciation score in repeat sentences, read the lectures, and in answer short questions. It means less content score, less reading score. Now, I hope lecture is clear. Someone is asking if we make a mistake and we know we have done this, do we repeat the sentence or what? Never ever do this mistake. The moment you go back, fluency will be down. And fluency is the utmost important thing because software first gives you the score for fluency. After that, it gives you the score for pronunciation, and then the last, it gives you the score for content. Never ever do this mistake. Someone is asking how to check our voice, pitch, and frequency. Download any app from Google Play Store. Um, I know one app. The name of the app is Voice Pitch Analyzer. Download it, speak anything into it. It gives you 2, 3 graphs. One graph with an average range, one graph with all the fluctuations, everything, and with that you can get to know this thing that which pitch your voice is having. How can I improve my pronunciation? Definitely, you need to work on your basic things. First of all, vowel sounds. And for that, what you can do? Just one simple activity. All the vowel sounds, just like now I'm speaking. A, A, O, O, A, A, O, A. All these are vowel sounds. And how would I get to know? Make a list of the words, um, of the sounds actually. Phonetics I'm talking about here. Just check the sounds of all the words which start with A. After that, just check the sounds of all words which starts with A, U, then AE, then AI, then coming to the next AO, AU, AE, AI, AO. Then start with another letter. After A, you have E, E, A, E, I, E, O, E, U. Check their sounds. In a similar way, you can do one activity for yourself, and it will help you to how actually I have to open my mouth for all these vowel sounds. Don't only check with the if these couple of phonetics sounds are coming at the first place of any word. Also check the schwa sounds too, because somewhere also in between any word you get AU, you get IO, you get OU. Have a look over those words too. And one more thing, if you want to work on all these stuff, it needs time. When you actually suppose your pronunciation is not good, you want to work on pronunciation, don't book an exam. First work on it. Then practice in bulk. Then after give one mock. Check your pronunciation score. Then move to next step. Book your exam. Provided you have also covered practiced for the rest of the questions. How well PTE mock tests will help? Will these mocks be exactly in line with final PTE software? Example, schwa sounds captured in mocks. Of course, everything will be captured. If I'm speaking anything wrong, definitely I will not get the credit, even if I'm talking about here the mock test or the real exam. And see, giving one mock test is just like pre-boards. In pre-boards, we actually get to know this thing that where actually I am standing, what are my lacking areas, and where I have to improve myself. And always before you want to sit in the exam, always give one mock, because not only one mock, I would say. Your practice should be in this way. Suppose my paper is on 28th February. Today it is 16th February. Then is it 16th? Yes, it's 16th. It's 16th February, and till today, I'm done with all the question types. Practiced a lot of stuff. After that, next week I'll be giving all the mocks, and after that, next week I'll prepare myself for all the repeated stuff, because repeated stuff also helps us to get good score. Because if um, I get good score, I get one or two repeated questions and reading blanks. Definitely, I know the answers. I'll mark immediately and I would save time. and can utilize that time for other question types. And yes, mocks will always it will be similar to the PT software as if you are getting it. But provided one thing, if you're going to give Pearson mock test, please use the best headset. If your headset is not good, you're using only your mobile phone's headsets or something like that, it is not of good quality. Software will not be able to listen what you have said. That's why we get less score in pronunciation at that time, and simultaneously I'll be getting less score for reading as well as my listening score, listening module. So that is a little bit, not a little bit, that is a disappointing thing actually. So if you want to give good mock test, you want to get good score, always use the best headset. And in real exam, the headsets you get there, those are of Plantronics company. Plantronics. I have tried to answer each and every question that you have asked. Yes. I hope today's webinar will definitely help you and you have understood all the stuff. Till evening, this will be uploaded on the YouTube. Would there be any negative marking in the entire PT exam? Of course, whosoever has asked this question for any misspelled words or any other mistakes. Yes, please go through with the webinar that I have given on last month. I think it was on 5th January. Negative marking scores, negative marking tasks for which this in this Pearson exam you get. Go through with that webinar, and if you want to get the link, download, sorry, subscribe PTE Tutorials YouTube channel, and then watch any free webinar. And there are so many good videos given by our certified trainers. Definitely it will help you. Somnath is asking, in the last exam I got 19 reading but 17 speaking. Because Somnath, you speak fast. With pronunciation score 66 and 90 fluency, which section shall I focus more? You need to focus on the way of your speaking. Your 90 fluency, pronunciation 66. Just decrease your pace, not so much. It should look like natural, and definitely your score would increase. Kaur is asking, can we add some words from our own to complete the sentence? See, Kaur, if you are going to do this thing, if you have forgot some of the words from a repeat sentence and you are adding words from your side, it means you're not at all getting the credit for all those words. Though you are just trying to maintain the fluency, but you will not get the credit for listening score, because actually that is not the content. What kind of questions are asked in answer short questions? If anything random? Yes, anything random. Whosoever has asked this question, I would suggest to you to go through with the repeated stuff. It will help you to understand what kind of questions you will get. In answer short question, you may get some sometimes images, flowcharts, simple audio is there. They can give you any scientific diagram and can ask anything about it. Any table will be there, and they can ask anything from that table also. And in answer short question, you just have to give the answer immediately, because in speaking, if you take a pause anywhere, starting, between, anywhere, you are taking a pause of more than 3 seconds, after that automatically microphone will be off. Whatever you will be speaking after that, software will not be able to listen it. I have good pronunciation, Vakila is saying, but still getting fluctuation in my pronunciation. See, because of your pitch, please check your pitch. After that, definitely, if it is high, try to keep it low. It will help you to actually get good score. Why same software has too much variation for voice of same person? Very good question, Wakila. Wait a sec. Wakila asked a question. She has gotten a variation of pronunciation score 53, 35, 37. Now see, some of the times what will happen, Wakila, this is for you and for you all. Why a person can get different scores for pronunciation? Because what has happened in all those three attempts, my most of the words, say 70% words have fallen in this region, because when I'll be speaking, my pitch will be, frequency will be like this. It will be, and for some of the words like this, and for all those words for which it is like this much, I will get the credit for those words. And for most of the times, two times you got 35 and 37, it means your fluctuations were like this. One word is at this, other word is at this, here, then here. Less words would have come into this region. That's why, Vakila, you got less score two times, 35 or 37. Just to work on. You know what? That is why usually I say this thing, speak flat. Don't follow the intonation method. The moment you follow the intonation, what will happen? Some of the words will go at high pitch and some will go at low pitch. And simultaneously, my score will be low. That's why we have to follow the flat pitch, flat tone. Don't add intonations when you are speaking. How do we know which are good headsets? Plantronics headset are the best ones. Will articles count in answer short questions? I would suggest to you to skip the articles in answer short questions, because it will not help you to get score. Reason? Suppose the answer of any question is orange, and I'm speaking an orange because I know O is vowel, so I should add, and I can add an with that word, with that vowel word. So what will happen? I will pronounce these two words in this way, an orange. Then, though my answer is correct, but still I will not get the credit. Reason? I didn't give the gap between these two words, and those two sounds have sticked to each other. Rather, it should be spoken in this way, an orange, so that software can listen to it in a better way and will give us the credit for that word or the words. Someone is asking which software is the best to compare the pronunciation of with native speakers' pronunciation. No software is the best one. No one. I cannot rely on any software because each and every software understands the things, understands the pronunciation of different native speakers. That's why the best thing is listen to natives and improve yourself. Take care, bye bye. I hope you liked the webinar. We'll meet on next Saturday. Now I'm going to end the webinar. If you want to go to watch the webinar again, you will get the webinar will be uploaded by evening on YouTube. Take care, bye bye.